So what if I told you that there is a way to do anything that you wanted in spite of fear? Hey everyone, how are you doing? Give me about 10 seconds, let me do a little intro, and then we can get into the real reason why you're all here. If this is your first time watching, hey, how you doing? My name is Jon Scharinger. I am the Change Operative, and thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you taking the time out. Now, no YouTube video would be complete without asking you to like, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell to get every notification of the videos that I post every day. All right, let's get straight into it. So what if I told you that there is a way to do anything that you wanted in spite of fear? And there is a way to act in spite of fear. Now, let me preface this that there is no way to take away fear in your life. There's absolutely nothing in this world to take away fear in your life. We just need to learn how to act in spite of fear. To act when we have that fear inside of our spirit, inside of our soul, and still move forward, because there are just a plethora, a myriad of occurrences within the world, within history, of people who have done that, who have acted in spite of their fear. But I think there's a big misnomenclature of what fear is and why people fear fear. Fear isn't a bad thing. It's not something negative. We've been given it a negative connotation throughout the world because we usually associate fear with something that is scared, with a bad occurrence, with maybe somebody hurting us, stealing from us, robbing us, maybe going to the ultimate distance and taking our life or taking a life of somebody else that we love. So fear has had this negative connotation. So I'm not trying to take that away, because there's a reason why we are scared of fear and why it is a negative word. But we don't have to have a negative attachment to it, because fear can be used for positive results. Because of fear, we heighten our senses. When we become fearful, whether it's our sight, sound, taste, touch, all the one of our senses, all of those get heightened when we become fearful. Because whether it's the fight or flight response that we get in our brain, there's something that's telling us that we need to be fearful. We need to fear for either our life or something that can happen to us. So fear can be a good thing, even though it's got a negative connotation to it. But fear does stop us from doing stuff, doesn't it? We have the fear of the unknown, which is a huge thing that we deal with. Change is also another word that is associated with fear. One that I'm trying to take that negative power away from with what I'm doing here is change is a good thing. Change isn't bad. So can we separate that? Can we separate that negative emotion and thought pattern with change and just separate it? And the reason why we need to separate that is change isn't bad. It's just bad because we don't want to change. So then we don't put the work towards what we need to do to be able to make change work for us. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to understand and learn that as long as you do the work, as long as you do something towards that change, towards the evolutionary aspect of life, then life won't be bad. Then you'd be able to have a healthier, happier, and a more joy-filled life. Or somebody, whether it's society or whatever, is trying to tell us to change. And we don't want to because it's work. Our brain, our mind has been conditioned through the years, through the decades, through the generations. It's been passed down that our mind has been conditioned to, if what we're doing now doesn't put me in a state of harm or doesn't put me in a state of my life is going to end, well, then I'm going to keep myself here. I'm going to keep myself in this lane. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine until you get to the point where pain starts to outweigh whatever pleasure you're getting from just staying in your lane. And those are two driving forces in our life, is either pain or pleasure. And I've talked about that numerous times in various videos. Those are the only two real motivators. And if I can inch one above the other, pain is going to be a higher motivator than pleasure. We do more work ourselves as a society, as a person. We do more work to make sure that we don't have pain in our life than we do to get the pleasure that we really want or get that reward. It's kind of funny that we do that. But we do more work to get out of the pain. And isn't that funny? We avoid change Up until that point, it gets too painful, and then we start doing work to make sure that we can go up to that next phase. It's almost like when I take my dog out for a walk, and I run her ragged. She brings a toy with her, she carries it in her mouth, and it's funny because everybody around the neighborhood knows us and knows our dog Reba because she always carries a toy in her mouth. She's not on a leash. We've trained her pretty well, but she always likes to go on a walk with a toy in her mouth. So we'll stop, and I'll fling that toy out into a field, let her run, and after a while she gets tired out, like anybody would. So then she walks a little bit further ahead of us while we're walking, goes up, and especially in the summer months, goes up into a shaded area and plops down. And she'll sit there and watch us. And she'll be panting. She will be panting up a storm. And we'll creep up next to her. We'll walk up next to her, get beyond her a little bit. Well, then she'll get up and she'll run ahead up until the next shady spot, the next tree or whatever it is. And she'll plop back down again and do the whole thing over and over. So she's avoiding the pain of having to walk every so often, exerting a little bit of force and effort to get above that change. And in that aspect, the change is my wife and I, or the family, getting up to her. She's understanding that we're getting closer and she's going to have to start walking because I'm not going to carry her. She's either going to walk with us or she's going to be left there and somebody else is going to get her. But my dog is understanding that she can prolong the pain of having to move again by exerting more effort, more energy to get that farther ahead of the change that our walking is, so that she can rest a little bit. So when we have fear in our life, it's always going to be there. It's always going to creep in the back of our mind no matter what we're doing. The fear is kind of brought on by the different core values that we have. So if one of those core values starts getting violated, the fear starts to increase. And that happens a lot with just our lives on the line. We value being alive. So once we get and we're put in that situation to where our life is in jeopardy, that fear starts to creep in. So when our different core values starts to get tested and pulled and prodded, then that fear starts to creep in a little bit higher and get more and more. So how can we act in spite of that fear? Because that fear is going to increase. How can we act to lessen that fear in our life and still be able to change, still be able to have the necessary things that we need in life and some of the luxuries, and still live a happier, healthier, and joy-filled life? One thing we can do is how we ended last year. And what did we do last year? If you're following my videos, back in December, well, in the whole fourth quarter, that is our harvest stage. And we're going to get into that again at the end of this year. That is our harvest stage in life. We've harvested, we've rejoiced, and then we start to build for next year. And that's all December is, building for next year, building for now. So we're in it. So everything that we did in December, setting the plans, setting the goals, creating the action plans, putting those plans on paper in front of our face so we can read them every day, that is one great way we can help act in spite of fear, because now the fear is still going to be there. Now we have a goal, though. We have a goal that we're going to try to obtain. We have a plan in front of us that we can act upon. So now we've taken a whole lot of the fear behind it, the fear of the unknown, possibly the fear of failure, because now we have a written plan in front of us. And it's like taking a road trip. You're not just going to go in your vehicle and drive to Timbuktu. No, you're going to map out the route. Or you're going to put it into your GPS on your phone and you're going to follow that. Either way, you have a map to follow. You have a plan to follow. The same thing is in life. Create that plan to where that goal that you are trying to obtain, and maybe it's just to make sure that the fear of failure, the fear of unknown never creeps into your soul. That's fine. You can still live a healthy, happy, and joy-filled life. So make a plan. Another thing that you can do is watch the videos of this past week. I had to plug that in there. Watch the weekly videos, the daily videos that I have. Every day will give you another tool to help you act in spite of fear. And that's what the beginning of a new year is. That's our growth phase. So right now, in January, February, and in March, we're going to be in our growth phase of the year. And one thing we need to do is take one step after another, one step after another. So even though you created the goals and plans last year, December, you still need to do the work. And that's part of it. Part of decreasing the fear in life, the part of acting in spite of fear, is to do the work, is to walk that path, is to walk that journey, is to go on that adventure one step at a time. And if you have a really good action plan that we've worked through, that'll help you do that. So look at the daily videos, Monday through Friday. Again, I have a different tool, a different idea that we were working on each day, and it's going to continue out the rest of this year. Now, the one thing that could kind of derail us on this is on Thursday? No, excuse me. Is on Wednesday when we talk about metrics and KPIs, key performance indicators, that a lot of corporations use, and then we're trying to get that to our daily lives, because if you can set a metric out there, that's something that you can manage. If you have a goal, again, if you have a ladder, and each rung of that ladder, each step, that's a new goal, small, mini, micro goal that you can accomplish to get to your overarching goal. So if you have those metrics out there, if you have those KPIs, if you have those plans, that's a good way to see where you are on your goal, on your path, to act in spite of fear. But that can also kind of increase the fear if you're not all right with that. If you don't hit your mark, that can increase the fear, that can increase the stress. The one thing that I would say in relation to that is life is fluid. Just because you might have a hard goal to be done in 30 days, you can increase the action items to make sure that you are doing more the next couple days to make sure that you complete that goal on time. Because you don't want to change the date of the goal. But if you're not able to increase the action items, if you're not putting in the work every day that needs to be done to accomplish that goal and obtain your dreams, well then, my friend, I'm going to tell you that that goal, that dream that you have isn't strong enough, isn't something that you really want. More than likely, it is a dream, it is a goal that has been placed upon you by either your family, your friends, the people you hang around, society, celebrities, all these outside factors. And if you're unsure of if that is or not, I will fall back on meditation. Each and every time I'm going to fall back on sitting by yourself in silence and asking yourself that question, do I want this goal or not? Is this something I want or not? Ask yourself that over and over. And it might sound redundant, might get old. You might not feel anything the first couple times you do it. Keep on doing it. And the answers will come to you because you have the answers. You just need to get all this other outside noise out of the way. So that's one thing that can kind of help work against us, is if you set metrics and you're not hitting them, that can help add to the stress. Well, then I'd go back and say, let's look at to see if this is actually a goal we want to obtain. If it's not, completely fine. Scrap that goal, come up with a new one, come up with another smarter goal, create the action plans, and then go. Go. Doesn't matter if it's not January 1st. Doesn't matter if it's January 10th, February 3rd, March, whatever. Start. Just simply start. And that is the biggest thing, is what can help us act in spite of fear, is just starting. Just doing it. Getting out there. And you'll start to understand it once you're in the middle of that goal, of obtaining that goal. You might be halfway through or getting closer to it, but once you understand that it's not the actual destination, and I say it a lot, other people say it as well. I was going to try to pick different names out there, but it doesn't matter. Other people say it as well. It's not the just destination, it's the journey. And it sounds like a motivational poster, but it's really true. Once you are really into that goal, the fun you're having is the journey. I use weight loss a lot. Once you're in that weight loss goal and you start seeing results, you're going to plateau. It's going to happen. But you're going to start to meet people who are on the same journey or who have been on that journey and are doing something different. But you're going to meet people You're going to build relationships, have camaraderie. You're going to have all these different side relationships and side enjoyment out of obtaining this goal that you never thought possible, that once you reach the goal, you're going to look for something else to fulfill that. Or you're going to be like, well, so fulfilling that goal or obtaining that goal wasn't the great, 4th of July sparks and fireworks that I thought it was going to be. I actually had more fun in the pain of the journey, in the pain of the adventure, climbing that mountain, than I did obtaining the goal. So act in spite of fear. The fear won't go away, but use some of these tips and tricks that I was talking about within this video to help you act in spite of it, to help lessen the fear, lessen the stress, lessen the anxiety, and give you more time in your life to create a better life, to create a healthier, happier, more joy-filled life. And if you want to continue to do that, check out these 2 different videos. There's plenty more, but check out these 2 different videos to help you double down on your efforts. That's one of them. And the other one is if you're struggling with your goals. This will help you create the smart goals you need to give you a better idea of what you want to do and how to create the best life possible. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you next week, and let's together help leave this world better than we found it.